For our top story this hour, we traveled to Ahvaz, Iran, to get the latest on the deadliest terror attack to rock the country in nearly a decade. On Saturday, armed men opened fire on a military parade celebrating the anniversary of the end of the Iran-Iraq War. At least 29 people, including military personnel, women and children, were killed in the attack. At least 68 were wounded. The terrifying assault was captured on video. Among the dead, 4-year-old Mohammad Taha Egdami, who was reportedly looking forward to starting kindergarten this week. This man, Hussein Manjazi, was disabled during the Iran-Iraq War, but survived that conflict only to be killed on Saturday. While an Arab separatist group is reportedly responsible for the attack, Iran's President Hassan Rouhani blamed the United States for the bloodshed.
All these little mercenary countries that we see in this region have the backing of the United States. It is the Americans who are agitating them. It is the Americans who are providing them with the required circumstances to commit such crimes.
The terror attack came just days before President Trump is expected to take aim at the Iranian government during his United Nations address this week. As Iranians mourn the dead this weekend, the president's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, attended the 2018 Iran Uprising Summit in New York, put on by the anti-government cult known as the Mujahideen al-Khalq, or MEK. While addressing the crowd, Giuliani touted the impact of U.S.-imposed sanctions.
The people of Iran obviously have now had enough. The sanctions are working. The currency is going to nothing. They're where Russia was. They're where Poland was. We see signs of young men and women saying, "Give me some food." We saw a sign of a man trying to sell his internal organs for $500 American, probably a fortune in Iran today. This is truly pitiful.
With peace in Iran in question, we're joined now by Professor Mohammad Marandi from Tehran. Mr. Marandi, I'll ask you about Giuliani's comments in a moment, but I first wanted to express our condolences to you and the people of Iran as you recover from this attack, and ask you what is the mood? What is the mood in the country now? Who do you view is to blame?
Well, there's a lot of outrage going on, and people are very angry. They do blame the United States and the United Arab Emirates and the Saudis. The Saudi Crown Prince last year said, "We want to take a war inside Iran. We want to take the war inside Iran," basically meaning that terrorist attacks should take place in the country. And almost immediately afterwards, we saw the attack in Tehran last year. Immediately after the attack, this recent attack, a Saudi-funded Persian-language TV called Iran International, based in London, invited the spokesperson of the group that took responsibility. They welcomed him on their show, and he was very explicit that they carried out the attack. And third, we had the advisor to the UAE Deputy Crown Prince, who tweeted that this was not a terrorist attack, that it was a legitimate attack, and that a decision has been made to take the war into Iran, and that these attacks will increase in size and scope. So the Iranian public clearly sees that the Saudis and the Emiratis are linked to the attack. Then we had something very interesting last night, where ISIS, the ISIS news agency, they published a film and tried to take responsibility for the attack. But the film had inconsistencies in it. There were factual incorrections. And also, the attackers never said that they were a part of ISIS. So the belief is that there's some sort of link between ISIS and the Al-Ahwaz group funded by the Saudis and the Emirates in this attack.
You heard what Rudy Giuliani just had to say while speaking at an MEK conference this weekend. He's essentially celebrating the dire situation U.S. sanctions have brought on average Iranians. What is your reaction to that?
Well, beyond the fact that it is an exaggeration of the reality on the ground in Iran, But the fact that someone would take such pleasure in what he thinks is happening in Iran and the misery that people are confronted with based on his sources, I think it shows the state of affairs in the United States. The regime in Washington is a deeply sick regime because, you know, when they take pride when they bomb countries, they love their missiles. When they attack Syria, their television personalities speak in praise of the missiles that are fired that kill ordinary people. They're proud of their soldiers when they are illegally invading country after country. They do not take responsibility when they bomb weddings or when they bomb hospitals. So, you know, I don't think the Americans really recognize that the international community, when they see people like Giuliani speak like this, and there's no backlash coming from the Senate or the White House or Congress or the mainstream media, it shows that this sickness is something that really is a part of the whole political establishment. It is linked to the mentality of the whole political establishment in the United States.
Right, and that includes the media, as you say. Very briefly, in the little bit of time we have left, it's expected that President Trump will clamp down at Iran during his UNGA address this week. How will Iran work with its allies to resist these crushing sanctions in what seems to be a growing call for war?
Well, the United States has already shown that it's not as strong as it likes to believe. They tried to force a government in Iraq upon the Iraqi people that is hostile towards Iran, and they failed miserably. And because of their absolutist approach in Iraq, the prime minister that the Americans were looking for will not be the prime minister in future. Whereas if the Americans had behaved reasonably, the Iranians and the Americans and the Iraqis could have come to an agreement to keep the same prime minister. So the point that I'm trying to make is that the Americans, the more aggressive they behave towards Iran, the more pushback there will be from Iran and its regional allies. And of course, the United States is also confronting China, Russia, even its own allies in the European Union and in North America. So Trump is isolating himself, and the United States is isolating itself. And that creates greater opportunities in Iran, for Iran across the globe. And as I said, it also has strong regional allies and partners. And the United States, through these aggressive actions, have united the Iranian population. So I think that the United States is seriously miscalculating, and it is not going to benefit from this sort of aggression against Iran.
Well, we can only wait and see how it plays out, though, as you said, if there's anything we've seen in the last several months, is that Iran certainly is stronger in the region. Professor Mohammad Marandi from Tehran, thank you so much.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.